Hi loves, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I want to go over the candle magic in general. So I want to tell you everything what I know, do's and don'ts regarding the candle magic. So please stay tuned, have lots of things to show you. And yeah, let's just dive into it. At first, let's talk about why we need candles and how it actually works. Let me borrow this one up here. The fire has a purification in it. Plus, when we burn the candle, you would probably see that lots of tarot readers, they will have a burning candle next to them. And lots of witches or whoever is there, they will burn the candles next to them. Why? Because they need to connect to the Holy Spirit. If you're gonna consider the candle by itself, as you can see, it doesn't have a body. It burns, it produces flame and the heat, and it has lots of energy, and it sparks and ignites, and it goes from the bottom to the top. And that's what we want. I'm not sure if Catholics, they pray on the candles, but in Orthodox, the church, basically my church, usually people go and they place the candle for their prayer, and they will pray on the light of the candle for the divine forces to hear them. So you could consider a flame as a messenger. Also, the flame by itself has the spark. It has, like, everybody of us has a life force, and the life force, it comes from the ignite. Even though we are kind of electrical beings, though the spark of the lightning comes from the fire. You know, there's a Jesus spark, there's a divine spark in all of us. So that's when we burn the candle, it's kind of represent that divine spark. Phases of the moon, or when you need to burn candles. It depends from what you want to, what's your intention. If you want to attract something to your life, you need to burn them on the waxing moon. If you want to get rid of something, if you want to banish an evil, if you want to banish negativity, the waning moon. On the full moon is getting its full potential, and it's also can reveal the truth. So if you want to have some kind of powerful spell, and you'll be like, oh, all the spells should be powerful. Kinda, but I would still say full moon, it's more if you want to lighten up something, if you want to get something spiritual and more in terms of, I know, getting the full potential, that will be the full moon. However, if you feel that you do not feel well, or there is like a black line in your life, you know, you have this negative sequence of event 24/7 and it's coming out of nowhere, that's like a bell for you to understand that maybe there is some kind of like an evil eye on you, or some kind of negative juju was sent to your side. In this case, you don't have to wait all the way to the waning moon. You can start to clean yourself at that time, but just please be mindful. It's better to do it on the waning moon specifically, because the effect will be better. But you can start, you know, to kind of drink pill before going to the doctor on the any moon which you have. Days of the week. Each day ruled by the planet. Monday is Moon, Tuesday is Mars, Wednesday is Mercury, Thursday is Jupiter, Friday is Venus, Saturn Saturday, and Sunday Sun. If you're good with the Vedic astrology, or if you're good with just an astrology in general, and you know how planet influence you, you might consider those days in particular. There's no specific restriction from any kind of religion which I studied about the days when you need to burn. There's some burning offerings better to do on Tuesday, since it's like kind of fiery energy. Sunday, but I would say Tuesday more. But still, you don't have to be in the frames of the specific day. Unless, for instance, if you want to have something beauty related, it's better to do on Friday. If you want to get money related things, it's better to do on Wednesday, since it's Mercury, and so on and so on. Okay, loves, let me show you the type of candle. From my previous video, you probably saw, and I stress it multiple times, the pure material, the better it is for the magical purposes. Those candles which I have here, they will not work. They made out of paraffin. This candle I got from Trader Joe's. Look at this. It says here, our candles, smokeless and dripless candles are made with the hand-poured paraffin and the single cotton wick. So at least wick is cotton. Well, it's nice, but it will not work in the magic purposes. What will work and why? pure wax candles. They can be in different shapes. I don't know if they're famous in your religion or not. They usually you can get them on the Etsy. Make sure that they're made out of 100% wax, and also the wick. If the wick is bad, that's why you will have cracking. Of course, you need to read the candle too. I will talk about how you need to read the candle and what the if you see that there's like a crying candle, or it's cracking, or it's burning, or it's smoking, like if there's some smoke coming out, it's like have different meaning. However, let's just stick to types of candle. You can, if you want to make those type of candle, you can get a beeswax separately. This one, it's cracked, sorry, it's not like super presentable. I got it from the Etsy too. I think lots of things you can get on Etsy. If you know the honey vendor, if you will have like a farmer market, you can ask them if they will sell you a pure beeswax, not purified. It should be a pure beeswax, but it's not supposed to be purified. So whatever wax they have, it can be even darker than this part, you see, will be not refined, will be not filtered wax. So it's better to have not filtered. This one I'm using actually, you can use it for candles. I was using it for sealing the negativity, and there's like a special technique for that, which is kind of cool. You can clean yourself, you know, with the wax by sealing everything in the wax. It depends on the level of severeness, of course, what you have. Sometimes just burning an essence and smudging is enough. But yeah, if something is more serious, then beeswax. If it's more, then something else like metals. So why the wax from the bees is so important? We know that it's made 100% naturally. So technically a soy wax is natural, but no, it was processed, gathered. There was lots of things involved in order for you to make it. For the bee specifically, all we know that it's made by the bee, so it's natural. The way how it's made is produced by the body of the very young bee, so only the, I think females up to 18 weeks can actually make the beeswax. After that, they just collecting honey. So it's really specific, and also it's you know, the way how they making the honeycomb, it's made in the hexagonal shape, which is on our hand too, because we need to use everything natural in magic. And it can retain and transmit information. Everything which is dead, everything which is handmade will never transfer any kind of information, not even telling about the retaining it. So for instance, this candle I made out of leftovers, so I know it was not pure. But how you can tell that the wax is not pure wax? You see this one? It has cracks. Of course, like I made a mistake because I placed it in the freezer since I wanted to like end up faster. But you can see there's a crack here. The pure candles, you can bend them the way you want. And actually, I'll show you later how you can bend them for your own purposes in like spiritual, with the spiritual intent. Another thing which you can do, you can get those beeswax sheets. As you see, they have different color. So it's a pure wax, like you can tell, you can bend it, and it has different colors. Why it's good? Because you can roll them up into a candle like those ones. And while you're rolling, you can add herbs, you can add runes, you can add your written intention, you can place an oil on top of them, you can roll it into herbs too. Those one more for the intention, like it's a ritual candle, so you need kind of make a program while you're rolling them. I have videos before how I was doing it, so please check them out if you haven't yet. So also those sheets are leftovers. It's not a actual sheet. They will be sold here probably buy a set like I did. But if you buy, usually they sold in one color and it's pretty big. I would recommend you to, when you do a program candle, or you need to stick to the chakra. So for instance, you know, the green for the heart chakra, red for root chakra. You can also go to sacral chakra too. This will be more with your solar plexus chakra, and also it depends on the topic which you're making the candle for. So for instance, if you want to have sexual drive and passion, whatever, will be red one. If you want to have wisdom and clear thinking, will be blue one. Money, interestingly enough, though it's a heart chakra, money will be by the green. And also Mercury, his actually color is green, like emeralds, it's a stones of Mercury. Saturn or sacral chakra will be purple. If If you want to have like, you know, the candy love, it will be the nice baby pink. Although those colors actually in candle magic you can use for neutral purposes. But as you see, the color kind of different. So this one is more yellowy. This one is close to the wax color. So I would actually say, rephrase it. So this one will be neutral. Everything which is more to yellow, you can call either abundance on them, celestial beings, and divine protection. This one represents purity, so still neutral color, but I would still recommend you more towards, you know, calling out for the angels and everything else. The black candles, they are usually for banishing and cleansing. So I was like, oh, let's go over the candles. What should I talk about? And I drafted over it almost 2 pages. While you're making the candles, so you can either do a prayer, or you can simply ask, or you can write down your desire. Sometimes I saw it too. You will write down your desire or wishes on the piece of paper and put it inside the candle. Or you can get just simple candle and pray on it, as you would probably regularly do. What type of things you might consider as well? So runes definitely. I will tell you, if you do not know runes, if you never used them before, they really dangerous. It's like basically playing with fire by itself. So not only the egregore of the runes doesn't like when people do not know nothing about them and simply use them as they have, so you can like kind of get smacked for that. Just in general, please do not dive into runic magic if you do not intend. You can start with simple, you know, words you can carve on the candle, like, you know, for instance, this will be for, let's imagine that this will be for love, and you'll be like love, love, love. Or it will be like for purity, you'll be like cleansing, purity, and just like a simple words which you might consider. Also, you can use sigils or glyphs if you know how to use them too. I usually use in terms of runes. I just know they're more synergetic with me. Don't forget that if you use the runes in the spiritual practices, well, if you will use them in the magic technically, you need to thank the gods afterwards, especially if you call in for the gods. And you thank them usually by the offering. The most common thing is to, well, it's really specific actually. You need to pour the black beer under the ash tree and thanks Odin, basically, because Odin is the god who created runes. For the spirits of fire, you probably know that there is a salamanders, that's a spirit of fire. They represents as the lizards. There was actually a cool topic before in alchemy. So they were thinking, they were saying that through the prism of light in the flask you can summon the salamander, and the body of salamander was always cool, so it was able to extinguish and take control of any fire. That's a cool idea, but overall the spirits of the fire is salamanders. For the general things, when you will need to have a matches, please do not use lighter. Lighter, it's already a dead flame. You need a live flame. Everything which comes out of spark ignition, well, you like lighter is the same. Not quite. I'm just passing the information. Use the candles, that's how you call the spirit, and use the natural material. Another thing, when you burn in the candles, I would recommend you never, if it's a program candle specifically, it should burn till the end. If you are getting rid of something in your life, you should burn it till the end. In case, if you cannot stay next to the candle, if you need to go away, or it's, I don't know, if you will try to program the candle for the multiple days, you can extinguish it, but you need to do it like with the pinch of your finger. Please, once again, technique of, I said, be mindful. If you don't do it, just buy yourself a candle extinguisher. It's like a cap where you place it on top, and it's getting rid of all the oxygen, and the candle extinguished by itself. That's really handy to have. But please do not blow on the candle. You can only blow on the candle when you have a birthday. That's the simplest type of the candle magic. By blowing the candle, it's like the force of wind getting over the flame, and just the flame spirit will be offended by this type of act. So usually it's recommended never blow on the candle. You need to extinguish it other ways. What else you can use in the candle magic. Mostly you can use herbs. I will probably need to get more information on herbs because ideally the herbs need to be collected in a specific day with specific words in specific place. There's like the whole culture. So if you know the herbalists, or if you'll find them on the Etsy, I actually found a few of them which I'm interested. I want to get in touch with them to ask how they get in the herbs. You can still, for the beginning, just to know how it works, use their regular herbs, like the one which I got in my favorite store. You can get it from another stores too, and there's lots of specifics of how you can use it. For instance, for the bay leaf by itself, the bay leaf should be the whole leaf, like you see, like this one. The bigger the better. You can also write down runes on the bay leaf. You can write down your desires on the bay leaf. Bay leaf is really auspicious to burn by itself, so you cannot have like a cracked bay leaf, as I said. As I mentioned, ideally it's better if you know someone who collect them in the spiritual frame or borders, which means that they're doing it by the specific canons and by the specific rules. Also, you need to realize that the herbs mostly should be, they serve with the magical purposes. If they collected properly, will serve you for the year only. So they cannot serve you for more than that. You can also use salt in it. This one, it's a black salt. I made it by myself. There's a different type of salt, and for that, like, probably need to be another video. Also, you need to use the oil. The purer, the more natural they are, the better effect. Usually people, what I found on the internet, I don't do it personally, but you know, like they will rub the candle specifically, like from which side you want. Is it like, if it's away from you, it will be something like towards something else, not related to you, or you want to get rid of it, you will go from the center to the top. If it's towards you, you'll go from the center to the bottom, or you can do like both ways, rubbing them with the essential oils or with your intention. Also, some people will spread the herbs, like it looks really pretty, but once again, if you have flowers, if you'll do like a love attraction candle, and you will use the rose flower petals, which are nice, and you will like put them on the, like around the candle. Just keep in mind that everything will burn, and the way how those candle works, they will not only crack if there is a herbs inside with the piece of paper with your wish or with the bay leaf. The way how it will burn, it will have like a small sparks, you know, coming out of the candle. So please, whenever you burn it, you need to be around the candle. You cannot just simply place it in the holder and forget about it. For the colors, by the way, I did not mention, but stay away from the artificial colors like golden or silver. Technically everything which is not natural again, and you cannot achieve a natural coloring in the golden or silver candles. So I would personally recommend you not to use them in the spiritual practices. Shape. So is shape of the candle is important. If it's runes, for instance, or something like, if it's a couple, I wouldn't even recommend you to do that. There's a high spiritual meaning towards it. Like imagine if you bought yourself a candle and it's, for instance, in the face of the goddess. Like you want to call a Hecate, or you want to call someone else, or if you want to get Freya, and you know, for gods, worshiping and even remembering them and calling their names, wow, for their power, that's already a big move. However, if the candle is made in the shape of the goddess and it's burning, it's double-sided sword. I wouldn't recommend you to do it, only because in some point you don't want to offend the goddess or any kind of celestial being. I would recommend you to have a separate statue for candles. If you have a shape, I don't know, shape of the heart, something, you know, which has a shape, you can use it. Just like be mindful about the goddesses and gods figures. For the wick, as I mentioned before, the wick's supposed to be pure or natural. I have a organic hemp wick, cotton wick. This is already dipped in wax, and I do have a cotton wick which is not dipped in wax. As long as the wick is natural. Also, right now they have this wooden wick, which is a new thing. As long as it's natural, it will work in candles, so it's fine. I also have this like shape up here. That's how I made this candle. Why I recommended you not to buy candles from someone else? Only because you do not know what type of intention and how they made it. Ideally, it's just like when you do the candle by yourself, it's not super hard. It's more energetically charged. Then you can buy it from someone else who placed their intention for you. And will it work, or is there like desires? So the time when they made the candle is actually correlate with your desires. That's already under question. Especially when you know the more candles they create, the less intention they have, because it's just business in the end of the day. When you roll in the candle, like this candle, if you will roll the candle or you will make a candle, when you roll it away from you, you need to get rid of something, or it's towards someone else. If you for some reason will decide to make a candle for someone, once again, if you wish only the best for them and you want to help them, like no sketchy things up here. So when you do, and that's why you need to have your own candle, because you don't know whoever will like present you a candle, you just don't know their intention. Not like I will diminish your friends or relatives, but just once again be mindful. Only if you have no negative sense in the present, you can have it. When you're rolling it towards you, that's you bringing something towards yourself. So that's really important in the working with the beeswax sheets. So there's actually another form of candle which I do not have, but I will make a separate video about it. That's there's like two more forms of candle. I will show you them on the picture though. One is called the rolled candle. So you pour the wax and you also place the herbs and you roll them into a candle. That's one form of the way how you can make the herb candle. And then another candle, there is a witch candle. That is another level. For witch candle, you don't use a wick. For the witch candle, you use only herbs which are inside. So that candle is just like, I would say it's a herb bomb, and it's like, it's really smoky. For the beginner, it's not the best way for you even to start. So your choice. Crystals. So I was trying to understand why people place crystals in the candle, and it's interesting because, you know, I studied a gemology and I studied a Western astrology, and their crystals, gems, are used in terms of healing. So I have lots of well, you can see I have it's by the way freshwater pearls, not seawater, and I have the coral due to my horoscope. But the thing is, like, when you get in the crystal, it's supposed to be not heated, not treated. When you get in the crystal inside the candle and it's burning, my heart is burning too, because another cool part is that there is an idea that silicon form of life can exist. It's physically proven. That's just our planet, the atmosphere doesn't allow the silicon to be malleable. That's why it's rough, and that's why we have crystals. But the crystal by itself, they hold their own structure and the way how they grow, so I consider them alive. So those candles, unfortunately, also on the videos, I did not find any kind of spiritual practitioner who would explain why the crystal is supposed to be in candle. So whoever knows, please leave me a comment or make a video at least, so it will be on the YouTube. I personally would not place a gems or crystals in the candle, only because I think that it kills them. If you didn't know, the amethyst, it's super easy for you to turn the because sometimes you will get a gem. For instance, you will think it's a citrine, but it's actually was an amethyst, and people just place them in the oven, so it will turn the color, change the color into more orangey. That's why you can know that this is actually heated amethyst. It's not a citrine, and it's killed, like it's dead material. It's not even like working the same way. So please, once again, choice is yours. I personally consider those type of candles as pure aesthetic pleasing, but they do not have any kind of magical powers unless like you have intent towards them. Also, most of them are made with the essential oils and not from the pure material. So once again, choice is up to you. Where you need to burn candles. Ideally, candles are burned in two places. Okay, theoretically like three. One place which is the best for candles is your southeast. So that part of your house, it's ruled by Agni, which is a god of fire by itself, pure fire. And the thing is, like, if you don't have a kitchen up there, the Agni will be really like, it gets the demonic attitude. And that's why lots of scandals in the house, like if you have lots of scandals in your house, just check your southeast area, because if there is some defects there, if there's no kitchen specifically, then spirit of fire is not satisfied, and that's how you will quarrel all the time. So only one spot in the northeast where you can burn the candles. And why only that part? So the whole segment northeast is ruled by water. However, the very top segment ruled by the divine flame. So theoretically, if in your house you will have an altar there where you can do the offerings to the god, that will be the best place. This part called, it's very corner of this northeast area, and it's called Shikhi, which means head. And as I mentioned, since it's ruled by the divine flame, that's the only place in northeast where you can burn candles. Another exception might be in the very, very south point of your house, but only if you're doing some kind of prayers to your ancestors, since they're not alive anymore. That part ruled by Yamaraj, god of death, and that's why it's better to burn candles there if you want to speak to them directly. Technically, because Yamaraj is a god of death, but if you want to speak with the ancestors, they also ruled by Rahu, and Rahu is ruling this west part of your house. But ideally, it's either east, it's ruled by the sun, only if you're doing the offering to the gods. North, east, which ruled by in the point of Shikhi, and you need to calculate it. You cannot just be like, oh, I assume it's here. No, especially if your house is oriented, there's like a lot of other things which you need to consider. I would recommend you to burn in southeast all the time, especially if you don't have a kitchen up there. Most of the cases, people don't have kitchen there, and it's already an issue. So regarding the candle holders, they're working. I mean, like, okay, sorry, they have the wax. I'm actually working on the way how you can clean the wax nicely, because as you can tell, I'll take those things away. If you can tell, there's lots of different materials which you might consider. They all are different, and the way how the wax melts, some candles, they're like dripping a lot. You need to clean them in specific way. Some of them you can use heat, some of them not. Some of them just like nice to look at, but they're not really practical, and vice versa. The only thing which I would recommend you is not to use this type of candle holder or glass candle holder. Better to use either metal or like a shot. You can use a shot glass and add some salt in it and stick a candle into it. At least that's like a really common way. If you want to, if you don't have a candle holder but you want to burn a candle, that will work in case if it would be wider. You can pour the salt inside, because salt by itself does not provide heat, so it's gonna like burn till the end, and it's just gonna extinguish without extra things. But yeah, I would just recommend you to stay away from the glass, especially if you do candles with the herbs. Especially if it's a witch candle, because that candle is like only herbs, and then the glass by itself will crack. The herbs, how they basically like, getting all the way down, since the wax is melting with all the herbs, and then at the bottom it will constantly produce the heat. So if it's not a tempered glass, and even if it's a tempered glass, it always will crack, and you will have lots of mess and lots of fire hazard up there. So please be mindful about it. So usually it's better to have a metal candle holder, or as I mentioned, worst case scenario, what I do, I have like a big bowl and I place sand there. So whenever so if I'm burning something, or if I'm doing working with fire, technically a bowl, like a wide bowl with the sand where you can stick something, it will not have any fire issues whatsoever. However, once again, you always need to be next to the fire. You cannot just leave the candle saying like, oh, it's a program candle, it will do the work, and you just like abscond. No, it's not gonna work like this. Please be mindful and please be responsible. Regarding the mortar and pestle, so mortar and pestle is really important when you will have multiple herbs, only because you will be able to grind everything together and to get more unified texture. You can use an actual flower. Sometimes you'll have the package with like huge like actual, you know, like dried flowers there. You can use them too, but please be once again mindful. Whenever you're gonna burn them, the herbs do not burn evenly. They can crack, they can pop, they can, you know, like do some kind of mess. They can fly away into another direction. So be mindful about that. Usually better to use it more evenly grinded. And another thing with the herbs, please don't use more than 3. I'll have a separate video where you can by the theme what you want to achieve and what type of combination of herbs or oils you can use for specific purposes. I would still recommend you to use 3, not more than 3 herbs. And only 1 oil. You can do 2 oils maximum probably, but still 1 oil and 3 herbs. That's a perfect solution. Also regarding the herbs, some people, and I mean, like, I agree with them at some point. If you, for instance, have a bay leaf and you want to incorporate it, you can either write down your intention on the bay leaf. It should be not cracked, but if you, for instance, cracking it, which I would not recommend, but if you, for instance, have not a bay leaf but another herb which is like more whole, it's better if you crack it with hands, because Mortar and Pestel, you grind it over, but you still need to take it and you need to rub it in your fingers with the intention, because intention, like your body and your energy need to have a contact with the magical tool. That's why you rub the beeswax, that's why you rub the candle, that's why you basically talk with the herbs while you're rubbing them. So it's a really important step, either for you to break the herb from your hands if you don't have a Mortar and Pestel, or you, even if you have Mortar and Pestel, you still need to kind of rub the herbs in your hands in order for you to tell the spirit of the herb what you want. So another thing is the crystals around candles, not inside the candles. Is it okay? Yes, it is okay. If you have the crystals around the candles, just to amplify your general thought, I will show you the picture right now. It's technically shows those really aesthetically pleasing candles when the people made the whole kind of theme of what they want to attract. Will it work? I would say yes, as long as you have intention, as long as everything is pure. Yeah, everything is natural. However, if it has, for instance, a paraffin wax and everything else, your intention will be heard, don't get me wrong, but just like the strength of your spell will not be at that level which you want to. Another thing which I wanted to share with you will be the numerology and candles. I haven't found them here, but it's really popular way in, I would say, Europe probably, where you, for instance, will have always 3 candles, and it's just a classic of candle magic for any purposes. And for instance, I want to clean myself, so I will twist it. Okay, in this case, I will twist it against, as you can see here, I'm twisting it against counterclockwise. If you want to attract something, if it's towards you, you twist it clockwise. So for instance, I want to get rid of something bad. There is one ritual called igniting. I think it's called, like, because I know it's like in Russian, but I don't know it in English. I would say it's more like igniting your issues. So you basically will twist your candle. Once again, I'm twisting it counterclockwise because I want to clean myself and my field. So I want to get rid of something. That's why I will burn it counterclockwise. You can add essential oils here, you can smudge them in herbs, but those type of candles, you would take a bowl with the salt and you would hold the candle, basically saying the spell that you burn in all the attachments. Like, it's really good, by the way, for attachments, burning, like sever the ties and everything else. You burn everything which is bad, and you lighten up for the higher forces everything which was negative towards you, and you ask the higher forces to basically be responsive and act in terms of balance. And if it's like your fault, it's your fault. If it's not your fault, then please take an action. And usually those type of things are pretty common. As I mentioned, I haven't found them in English sources. And also what I wanted to tell is that you can use up to for instance, if you work with your family, usually it's when you work with your ancestors, you need 7 candles, because it's 7 each generation back, up to 7 generations. They are in the limbo. So they have their own field where they exist, and they're the one who's actually not incarnated yet. So if you work with your ancestors, usually it's number 7. 9 for the completion. 7 can be also for cutting something out, since it's a Ketu energy. And yeah, that's numerology, and that's how you might use it. Also, some candles, for instance, I saw them too. If you want to sever tie, there's multiple ways how you can do it. But there's, like, for instance, you place 2 candles in front of each other, and you like place the thread in between of them, and by burning it, the tie is kind of severed. And that's one of the ways how you to realize that technically, envisioning that the ties is actually being cut. So also, as I mentioned before, everything which is not natural, so for instance plastic, consider it not to provide the electricity, well, rubber, but I mean, like, if you have the plastic gloves, or you have, there's like really flimsy gloves too, if you're using them, the intention will not be transferred to your candle. So that might be a thing which you might look into it. It's really good to take something like negative, like if you have a negative energy, like some item which you suspect has negative energy, you can get it with gloves. So technically it's supposed not to do any kind of harm to you. But if you're working with magic and you want to do something which will work, please don't use gloves in this case. So with the candle, when it burns, you need to be really understanding of like, there's a separate language of the candle by itself. If it's at some point extinguished, even if you did it by yourself, you breathe on it and it just extinguished, that's usually a bad sign. That means that, like, there is something like blocked in your energy and you need to go on with your ritual. Also, if it's smoking, it's usually a sign that you like found something. Of course, like, we need to be mindful. There may be a bad quality of candles. Some candles, even from the people, since they try to save some money on the materials, their wick can be not of the best quality. It can be not waxed. So usually when you're trying to light up the candle and the candle doesn't light it up, like, you cannot technically light it, and it's always like extinguished before even getting to the candle. It's usually a bad sign. However, like, this candle by itself, there's a high chance that it will not lighten up, only because the wick, the one which I used, is not dipped into wax, so it will not burn. Ideally, it will just burn the wick, and then because usually fire feeds from the oil which is inside the wax, so till fire will ignite the oil and the wick will be saturated with this oil, there will be a time. So please be mindful about that too. Don't freak out if your candle extinguished, but you will think like, oh, there's such a big negative on me. Like, no, it's not. Another thing, when the candle cries, that's a good sign. That means that there is something actually was on your field and it's sealed into the wax. Most of the people, they read the wax drops, how they call it, the crying candle, and some of people who have like a really good intuition, they can actually read who, when, what was placed, and so on and so on. Some people look not on the drops by itself, but they look on the whatever is left after candle. Some candles you will not have a leftover, so it depends. As I mentioned, I got, for instance, these candles, and they're great. I mean, the quality is really nice. It's a pure like honey beeswax, but they crack. And how do you know? I'm just burning few candles at separate time, and if they're still cracking, Okay, I might consider that my house is so negative. I guess I don't know why, but other candles burn nicely. It's only those are cracking, so definitely there's something wrong with the candles by itself. So I didn't mention this yet, but I got those candles too. It's the same type as this one. Pure wax just dyed, so it has a different colors here. General, like some people, they use multiple colors with multiple intention in one candle twist. I would recommend you not to use multiple colors and mix them. That's my personal advice to you. Stick to one intention and finish it till the end. You can do separately different colors. I saw once one lady, she was doing a candle twist for how to work with the ancestors, and she was doing it with different colors, but it was like 14 candles and it was made in the tree. So as I mentioned, my personal advice would be not to use different colors. And as always, safety. So please, once again, doesn't matter if it's a regular candle, store-bought, the candles like those, please do not leave them unattended. Please always think about the fire hazards, especially if you have pets. My gosh, I once was burning those candles, and you know, like they have a really sweet honey smell, and you would think, so I had my doors open, and then I have the bee flying into my house, and I'm like, honey, you need to, like, you know, go. I cannot kill it. And I'm trying to, you know, put it, how to say, move it towards the exit, but no, not. So while I was trying to find something for me to kind of, you know, like shish it away, it was gone. And I was like, oh, fine. So, you know, I just need to close the door. When I was approaching the door, it came back. And apparently, because those smells like a honey, the honey bee went straight into the flame. And I was like, are you okay? So then I was trying to open my window, which is close to my kitchen. And then guess what? There's another honeybee trying to enter, and I was like, this is like ridiculous. So yes, please be mindful about your animals. If you have cats, pets, when you burn the candles, please don't let them close. I know it can be like really enlightening. Maybe the cat want to tell you something. You do not know what will happen. Some animals, they can just, you know, not have a sense of the fire or anything which can damage them. So please make sure it's safe too for them. And regarding your kids, fire is not a toy. As I mentioned, it's something which is tame, but even we know that it has a really wild nature. I don't want to make this video even more than that. I can talk probably more and more about separate planets, about everything else. Please leave the comment down below if you want to know anything specific, and I can come back to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for your patience. Let me know if there is something which you would like to talk about, and I'll be down for it. Thank you. Bye.